Hello, it's Kat, and today on Small Steps, You Define You. So one thing that when I came out of a relationship that I was real strong about for some reason, I'm not sure what that guide was, but I was hearing this idea that I'm not going to let anybody come in and tell me who I am. And part of what I remember is one time the abuser said to me, they said, "I know you better than you do." And I thought, they do. And I thought it was really odd that I thought that. And so I likened it when I came out to be like, no, this is not happening anymore. And so the abuser, they want to push you. They want to push you to the brink of insanity with their various tactics that they use that are designed to suffocate the your true self. They want to mold you into who they want you to be. This is the chaotic reality of who they are. You see, they need you to fulfill in them what they can't get for themselves because they don't have that aspect of who they are. Whether you find these things in the narcissistic traits or any other kind of abusive kind of person, those labels don't matter as much as the tactics that are in Biderman, which is simple things that I like to keep simple because I think that's easier to kind of have this understanding. In contrast, the survivor will do whatever it takes to defend their right to exist. You know, it's like when I went to the uh, safe house and they said to me, I said, well, I lied about things that I lied about bills because of the rage that came towards me. But I lied. And she said, Was your drive to inflict pain and deception on the abuser? And I said, No, I just couldn't have these conversations with them about life gets in the way kind of things, because no matter what I said, it was always a fight. I couldn't have that communication with them. And so coming away from that, I think that you have to understand the survivor does things, the victim does things in order to survive that situation. It's normal to have things that you do in order to protect, because every day you're getting bombarded with the abuser trying to mold you into something that is not you. And if you bat up against it and say, "That's not the way I think," they get angry. If you get angry, they get angry because they don't want you angry. And so that whole squashing that I'm talking about, that brings you to the brink of that insanity because you can't be yourself. And so you see that survivors, victims are not the same. And when I realized that my sanity was the target, because they thought of me as not much more than a tool to project the fantasies that they have about how they want others to view me, then it changes how you think about yourself. So if others choose to judge you for your actions, that judgment is on them because you know the truth about how come you've lined up the way that you've lined up. You don't need to be validated by others, and you don't need others' judgments. Sure, I wish I couldn't have lied. But when you have a rageful person standing across from you with all their muscles firing and wanting you can see it in their eyes when they're wanting to come over and hurt you physically, and they're doing everything they can so that they're not. That sticks with a person. It's the same rage that I saw in my father growing up. And so it molds you into the person that you are. So I have compassion for the little girl that had to look at that. I have compassion for the woman who had to have that happen in her life. And I'm not going to let somebody else come in here and tell me how terrible I was, because whatever it is that they want to judge me for, I know the truth. So I decided in this journey to repeatedly set aside the chaos that was created by the abuser and let them have it. It wasn't mine. I didn't want to be involved in that chaos. That chaos was theirs. I had to look within myself and say, how am I feeling about this? Where is it coming from? What am I going to do about it? Because you see, now I'm flourishing because I understand who I had to be in order to survive their madness and who I truly am. So I want you to think about that. Let no one come in here into your heart space, your sacred heart space, and define who you are. That's yours to do. I know who I am, and I want you to know who you are. It's not you. It's not you deciding how somebody else should be. It's about you taking care of the person in here that has been hurt by the abuser, that has been taken down by the abuser. Let that address that pain. Like, I see you. I hear you. I hear the little girl that just, I can hear her screaming because she wanted the chaos to stop and she couldn't. And so I tell her, I'm not going to be around that kind of chaos. And I don't put myself in situations that bring about that chaos. That's how I take care of that little girl. I don't put myself with people who are not receptive to me being who I am, as I did as a young woman in a relationship, and an older woman in a relationship. I've said no. So not. I'm very careful about people that I have in my life and that I have that close. And I have no problem shutting that door on people who are abusive, because I know who I am. I know why I do what I do and how I act the way that I act. And I'm okay with that. I'm purely okay. I don't have to earn it or prove it to no one. And I want the same for you. Now go get it. Take care. I hope this helps.